Hi, I'm Riva with Quality Sewing and Vacuum, and I want to share with you a really awesome tool for quilting your quilts. Now, piecing is one thing, but quilting it and getting all the layers stitched together in a lovely manner is a completely different skill set. Now, you may have a long arm already, and you do free motion quilting on your long arm, and that's great. But what if you want to do perfect feathers, perfect circles, perfectly straight lines? That's where automation can really help you out. Pebbles, feathers, cross hatching, custom designs that you want to do yourself to create yourself. You can do all that with the Pro Stitcher. So we're going to take a look at the Pro Stitcher, and I want to show you a couple of really easy things that you'll be able to do with automation. Okay, before we get started with the actual Pro Stitcher, I just wanted to give you a closer look at this really fun quilted sampler quilt. So all the piecing is all the same, but if you notice inside each section, there's a different style of automated quilting that has been done, which this is a really fun way to get to know the different styles that come on your Pro Stitcher. So there's perfectly straight lines, lovely feathers, circles, perfectly smooth curves, and perfectly straight lines. So the world's your oyster at this point. You can do just about anything. But let's take a look at how cool and easy the software is. Okay, so this is the Pro Stitcher, and if you are not a computer person, that's okay, because this is really easy to use and you don't need to know how to program a computer. So there's a couple of different choices that we have here for choosing an area. And what I want to do is quilt inside this block. So I want to choose the boundary areas for this block. If I know it's a perfect square, I could use just a two corner and touch the top left corner and then the bottom right corner, and I'll be set. However, I cannot guarantee you that I stitched that square perfectly square. So I'm going to use multi-point. And what this will do is it will allow me to choose more than one point. So I'm going to choose each one of the corners. Now this is also perfect if I'm doing a triangle or maybe a heart shape or a flower or something like that. Okay, so this is the square that we just created. It represents the area of our block. And you notice the crosshair shows me right where my needle is on that block, but that doesn't really matter, just for your information. But let's choose a design. So I'm going to go to File and Design, and let's open. So when I touch open, we're going to get a image of our catalog in here, and there's tons of different pieces that come, or categories in here, and I'm just going to go to the blocks. Now you can also add in your own designs, whether you purchase long arm quilting designs or maybe you have created your own in a software. You can add those in. So you have lots of different designs to choose from, and I'm just going to choose this really pretty petaled flower and say open. And now we're ready to stitch that. Well, not really. My block's down here and the flower is up there. And we don't even know if that flower is the right size to fit inside of our block. So let's go to Modify, and we're going to touch Skew. And over here, there's two different styles. One is for more of a wonky shape, and this is fairly symmetrical, so we're going to stick with Skew 1. And what Skew is going to do is move it inside of our area and make sure it fits the boundary line. So just by touching that, we've moved our block or our design into the block, and we're ready to sew. What could be easier than that? Now I'm going to go over here to Edit, and I'm going to clear everything off the screen because I want to show you something else that's really pretty cool. I'm going to zoom out so we have a better view of the whole quilt, and I'm going to go ahead and add area, and I'm going to use a two corner section here, and I'm just going to define the entire area of our quilt, the quilting area on our machine. So this is the area that we just marked with the machine. Inside the pink box is a very safe area for our machine to stitch without running into the leader, the bars, or anything like that. So you can see here now that my width is 67 inches and the height is 17.8 0.84 inches. And that's great if I only want to quilt in that one area, but we do have a whole quilt to do. So let's change that to represent the size of our quilting area. And I know that my quilt is about 67 inches long, but I'm going to tell it 70 inches just to give it some extra and say enter. Now I have my entire, I have my entire quilt displayed right here on the screen and ready to work with. So let's get a design. I'm going to go to File and Design and Open. And now I'm going to go in here, and instead of doing a block, I want to do a continuous line. And these are designs that will hook one to another. So I'm going to touch Audrey. I think Audrey is so sweet. So we're just going to touch Open, and now we have that design. But we need more than one design, so let's go to repeat because we want it to repeat. Now we can simply ask it to repeat plus, and fill it in that way manually. But I'm going to go back down to 1, and I want to show you the easy way. I'm going to touch the button that says fill, and voila, my whole quilt is filled with this pattern. Now I do have a gap on the sides and on the top and bottom just a little bit, so let's fix that. Right now I'm on horizontal, so I'm going to touch stretch, and look, it brings it all the way from edge to edge. And if I want to fill that little gap there, I'm going to touch vertical and touch stretch again, and it has stretched that design to perfectly fill our quilt. So as you can see, it's really easy to do a simple single block and do custom quilting that way, or fill your whole quilt with a pattern. Now we did fill the whole quilt, but let me tell you what happens. Once you run out of area that you can stitch, all you need to do is tell the machine that you advanced the quilt, and it knows where it left off, and it will go right to the place that you need to start, and it will start right back up. It is really brilliant. So automation is going to be able to help you be more creative, get things done in a faster amount of time, and you're going to get those beautiful, perfect feathers or curves or circles and perfectly straight lines that we haven't been able to do on our own before. So take a look at automation, come on into the store, and we'd love to show you how easy it is to use the Pro Stitcher.